Hey everyone, Dave here talking today about retirement planning and specifically talking about the feelings associated with it. And why does retirement sometimes feel so scary? We're all told that retirement should feel kind of like this, or thinking about retirement. You get to walk out the door and never show up for work again. Life is wonderful, all kinds of time on our hands, get to do whatever we want to do. I actually had a picture of like the classic picture. I couldn't find it in my image library of the silver haired couple running down the beach together, hand in hand. Life is grand. This is how we're told it's supposed to feel, but we start thinking about it, and this is how it really feels, like we're watching a scary movie, right? And something bad could happen in this movie, and we're like all tensed up and waiting for the other shoe to drop. So why is this? This period that on paper should just be freedom and wonderful, why does it sometimes feel scary? Well, we really need to think about it in terms of the three F's: the finances associated with retirement, the fulfillment that work may be giving you, and the familiarity. And so in terms of finances, hopefully anyway, this could be the first time in decades that we're spending far more than we're making. Eventually this fixes itself, usually in the form of we're getting Social Security. Maybe we're eventually lucky enough for a pension to kick in. We have to start taking distributions from our retirement accounts. But in that period where none of that is there, it's scary to see all this money going out the door and the paycheck not coming in anymore. In terms of fulfillment, again, there's lots of things we're ready to let go of from work, but there's also some good things about it. And we may miss those, and we need to figure out how to fill those in. And then finally, this is especially true for me. My wife sometimes calls me pattern boy. Whether we like it or not, work is a pattern. We get up at the same time, we go to the same place, we see the same people, we go out to the same places for lunch. It's a routine. Routines are familiar. We're hardwired from a survival instinct to not like change, because often in more primitive times, change was very bad. And so even a bad pattern can be missed when we no longer have it. So, and we could do an hour-long episode on each of these things, but just to do kind of a quick, very overall, getting comfortable with your finances. You can do some finger in the wind stuff. You can start with the online calculators, see if you're even in the ballpark in terms of having enough money. These things are usually too general, but are a good starting point. Another one that I really it's very interesting if we want to do a little bit of math, is, let's look at the return that the amount of money that you've saved would need to generate to support your lifestyle. Now, this doesn't factor in inflation or taxes, but it also doesn't factor in the fact that eventually you'll have income from Social Security, maybe some other sources. And eventually we'll be able to draw down savings at some point if it comes to that. But if we want to do some quick math, let's say we need $7,000 a month to live, or $84,000 a year. How much in savings do we need if we only want to count on a 5% return on that every year? And again, not factoring in lots of stuff, but if 84,000 divided by 5%, which is 84,000 divided by 0.05 or times 20, is 1.68 million that we need to support that lifestyle, and only count on a 5% return from our investments. Now, if you want to go a little bit further, you can use a DIY program like Bolden that allows you to program in, how much you have in your accounts, what kind of accounts they are, whether they're Roths or regular IRAs or taxable brokerages, how much you're going to get in Social Security, how long you plan to work for if you haven't retired yet, pensions, how much you plan to spend. You can get granular with travel and what you're going to spending on cars and all that good stuff. It's a wonderful program. If you're not comfortable doing this on your own, there is a pretty significant learning curve to doing it. You can get help, and you can work with a financial advisor in programs like Right Capital, eMoney, Money Guide Pro. All of these things that you would work with an advisor can give you a much more customized look at whether your finances are in order and you're ready to retire. Now, second point, fulfillment. A really good place to start is just sitting down and thinking about, we sometimes focus on all the bad stuff with work, but What are the good things? Do we have friends there? Are we achieving a sense of purpose or sense of accomplishment? Even just it gets us out of the house, out of bed, it gets us dressed. We want to make sure we have a mechanism to do those things. And you may be in a very physically demanding job. It may be your only or mostly only source of exercise, so physical activity. And as you're contemplating retirement well in advance of that date, start thinking about your plans to replace the things that you have from work in each of these areas with new things you'd like to do and go try. And finally, finding familiarity. So this one, again, if we've been doing the same thing for decades, more or less, this is just going to take time. And you almost have to plan. In fact, it may have already started. You may already be feeling uneasy because you sense this change coming. Plan on feeling uneasy for a period of time. It's okay until you settle into new routines. Run small, inexpensive experiments to discover those new routines. You may try a bunch of stuff in the first year of retirement. You'd maybe out there joining a gym, playing pickleball, doing volunteer work, working part-time, taking a pottery class, traveling all over the place, cleaning out your basement, whatever it is. Just plan on almost reverting back to that period of being a kid where everything was an experiment because it was all new and you were doing it for the first time. We haven't had to experience that for quite some time in our adult lives, but that's really what it is. It's reverting back to that kind of state and being okay with trying things and making mistakes until you find what you like. And finally, talk to people. Talk to people who are already retired. Talk to people who are thinking about it. See what they're doing and use it as a buffet to take what you like and try and let the rest go. So if you address these things heading into retirement, your finances, fulfillment, and a sense of familiarity, you can again move from watching that scary movie to being that happy couple, really enjoying themselves in this wonderful life phase. So that is it. Like and follow if you'd like to see more from me. Take care.